that life trusts you with more weight. Weak characters are protected from heavy assignments, strong ones are shaped by them. And yes, there will be moments when you feel like stopping, moments when your mind tells you it is too late, too hard, too risky. But hear this clearly, it is not too late until you stop. As long as you are breathing and willing to work, the story is still being written. Fear will always exaggerate the cost of action and minimize the cost of regret, but regret is always more painful in the long run. Imagine yourself 5 years from now, looking back at this exact moment. Will you be proud that you stayed disciplined, or disappointed that you chose comfort again? That question should guide your decisions more than your emotions. You must learn to delay pleasure so you can experience freedom later. People who win long-term learn how to say no quickly and yes intentionally. They do not need approval to move forward. They do not need validation to stay consistent. They understand that loneliness is sometimes the entrance fee to greatness. If everyone understands your vision early, it is probably too small. Big visions confuse average minds at first. That is why you will often walk alone before others catch up. But do not mistake solitude for failure. Solitude is where focus is born. Solitude is where discipline becomes identity. Solitude is where you learn who you are without noise. Right now, you are in a season where you must build without applause, train without recognition, and believe without evidence. This is not easy, but it is necessary. You are learning to trust your process even when results are invisible. And that skill will separate you from the crowd for the rest of your life. Let me tell you something powerful, momentum does not come from giant actions, it comes from small actions done relentlessly. Show up even when you feel unmotivated. Do the work even when it feels boring. Stay consistent even when progress feels slow. Because if you are still listening, understand this clearly, most people never reach this point, they quit mentally long before life ever tests them fully, but you are still here, which means something inside you refuses to settle for small thinking. Right now, life is watching how you respond when no one is clapping, because that is the phase where real leaders are separated from temporary dreamers. You must understand this truth, destiny does not respond to words, it responds to patterns. What you repeatedly do in silence is what your future recognizes. If your days are undisciplined, your tomorrow will be unstable. If your habits are weak, your confidence will always collapse under pressure. But if your routine is strong, even fear will eventually respect you. The reason people like Elon Musk operate at a different level is not because they are superhuman, it is because they made a decision to think long-term when everyone else was chasing comfort in the moment. They accepted early pain to avoid lifelong regret. Right now, your biggest enemy is not failure, it is distraction. Distraction steals years without making noise. It keeps you busy but empty, active but stuck. And if you do not learn to control your focus, the world will decide your priorities for you. You cannot build a powerful future with a divided mind. Every time you say yes to unnecessary things, you say no to your own growth. And deep down, you already know what you need to stop doing, you just have not been brave enough to cut it off yet. Let this be the moment you stop negotiating with habits that sabotage your destiny. Understand something important, your comfort zone does not feel dangerous, but it is the most expensive place you will ever live, because it charges you your potential in exchange for temporary peace. Growth will always demand discomfort first, clarity later, strength before reward. That is the price, and it has never changed. You may feel your potential in exchange for temporary peace. Current comfort zone cannot produce. You cannot think like everyone else and expect a different outcome. You cannot live distracted and expect a focused future. You cannot delay discipline and still demand destiny to respect you. At some point, you must decide that your excuses no longer deserve your energy. Successful people are not special, they are just intolerant of wasting time. They understand that every hour either builds their future or feeds their regret. And right now, this moment, listening to this message, is one of those hours. The question is not whether you have potential, the question is whether you are willing to protect it from distractions, from toxic voices, from comfort that feels good now but steals everything later. You were not created to blend in, you were created to stand out, but standing out first feels like isolation. You were not created to be understood early, you were created to be undeniable later. Most people want the reward without the routine, the title without the training, the victory without the battle, but life does not work like that. Life pays in proportion to the pressure you are willing to endure without quitting. That is why the calling on your life feels heavy, because light responsibilities are given to light characters, and heavy assignments are reserved for those who can carry weight without breaking. Somewhere ahead of you is a version of your life that will make sense of everything you are going through now, but you cannot reach it by doubting yourself every time things get uncomfortable. Doubt is normal, fear is normal, but obedience to fear is optional. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is movement in spite of it. And every time you move forward while scared, something inside you upgrades. Right now, you do not need more motivation, you need more commitment. Motivation comes and goes, but commitment stays when feelings change. Make a decision that no one else needs to understand. Make a promise to yourself. This is part 2, and if you are still here listening, that already says something powerful about you, because most people quit before the message gets real, but you stayed, and that means somewhere inside you know this is speaking directly to your life. Right now, I want you to understand something very clearly. The world you are trying to enter does not open its doors to wishers, it opens to builders, to people who decide once and never negotiate again with their excuses. You were never behind in life, you were being built in private, shaped in silence, trained through pressure, because fragile minds break when responsibility comes, but strong minds are forged through resistance. Look back at your life for a moment. Every time you thought it was over, somehow you survived. Every time you thought you could not handle more, life gave you more and you still carried it, and that is proof that you are not ordinary. Ordinary people collapse much earlier. There is a reason your path was harder, there is a reason shortcuts never worked for you, there is a reason comfort never stayed long in your life. It is because the destination you are meant for requires a stronger version of you than most people ever become. People like Elon Musk do not look for talent alone, they look for obsession, they look for resilience, they look for people who can keep moving when motivation disappears, because motivation is temporary, but discipline changes destiny. Right now, somewhere deep inside, you may feel frustrated that results are slow, that recognition has not come yet, that people still doubt you, but understand this: growth is silent before it is loud, roots grow in darkness before trees rise in public. The problem is not that nothing is happening, the problem is that everything important is happening where eyes cannot see yet. While others are busy comparing timelines, you are being prepared for impact. While others are chasing attention, you are being trained for responsibility. Listen carefully, this message is not random, it didn't reach you by accident, and no, this is not just another motivational talk. Right now, at this very moment, your name is being discussed in places you cannot see yet, not because you are famous, not because you are rich, but because you are becoming dangerous to the limits that once controlled you. Have you ever felt deep inside that you were meant for something more than waking up tired, more than surviving month to month, more than watching others win while you wait? That feeling is not imagination, that is potential knocking. People like Elon Musk understand one thing very clearly: the world does not change because of comfort, it changes because of obsessed, misunderstood, restless minds. For years you may have felt invisible, ignored, undervalued, even doubted by people closest to you, but here is the truth they never told you: the greatest builders are always ignored before they are recognized. Elon Musk was laughed at, Tesla was called impossible, SpaceX was declared a failure again and again, but while the world was talking, he was working in silence. That is why this message is urgent, because right now you are standing at a crossroad. One path is familiar: fear, excuses, waiting for permission. The other path is uncomfortable: discipline, consistency, growth. Inner circles of success do not look for loud people, they look for quiet warriors, people who keep showing up when nobody is watching. Your struggles are not delays, they are preparation rooms. Every rejection trained you, every failure sharpened you, every lonely night built. Successful people are not confident all the time, they simply learned how to move despite fear. Right now you might feel tired, burnt out, questioning whether it is worth it, but hear this carefully: you are closer than you think. Breakthroughs do not announce themselves, they whisper, and they usually arrive right after the moment you almost quit. That is why this mess